Welcome back to the deep dive, where we take a stack of the most actionable sources we can find and distill the knowledge you need for real-world application.
Today, we're really digging into an idea that, it challenges a lot of what we're taught to believe.
Right. The idea that our lives are sort of mapped out by fate or chance, or that you need some kind of miracle to really change things.
Exactly. We're looking at the core philosophy in Marc Reklau's guide, 30 Days. Change your habits, change your life.
And the central idea there is pretty empowering. It basically says that success and happiness aren't random.
Not at all. They're things you actively plan for. You create them by, consistently installing the right habits over time. It's a system.
What I love is the timeline. It's not just this vague philosophical concept. It's built around this 30-day window.
And that's backed by a lot of behavioral science. Experts agree it takes somewhere between 21 and 30 days to really lock in a new habit.
So we're talking about 1 month of focused, consistent work. And the promise is that if you really apply yourself, you can fundamentally change where your life is headed.
It all starts with what the author calls a massive, non-negotiable mental hurdle.
Okay, what is it?
It's recognizing that you are the primary creator of your life, every part of it. Your financial situation, your health, your relationships, all of it.
So everything that happens is a product of your decisions and actions.
Exactly. Either decisions you made consciously, by design, or the ones you made unconsciously, by default. But it's not fate. It's not bad luck.
Okay, I have to push back on that a little bit.
Right.
That sounds incredibly hard to swallow, especially when life throws a real curveball. I mean, what about a global pandemic, or getting laid off unfairly, or an economic crash?
That's a great question.
Are you saying those are somehow my fault?
It's a crucial distinction. It's not about blame. It's about ownership. The source is really clear on this. You're responsible for the results you get, no matter what the initial stimulus is.
The results, not the event itself.
Precisely. And the real tragedy, the thing that keeps people stuck, is when they reject that responsibility. They just wait. They daydream. They hope for some outside miracle to save them.
Like winning the lottery.
Exactly. Or marrying someone rich. They truly believe that life just happens to them. So they keep doing the same things over and over, waiting for something to change.
There was that anecdote in the material that I found so telling about the person who couldn't define what being happy even looked like for them.
Right. They just said they wanted to do everything they want to do.
But when they were asked what that actually was, they had no idea.
And that's the trap. If you haven't even defined the destination, how can you possibly start moving toward it? You can't.
So the first step is just getting clear.
It's that simple. And that's the power of this guide. It says, stop. Ask yourself what you really want. Write it down. And then start taking action. That's how you create your own miracles. The solution is almost always action.
So our mission today is to lay out that blueprint for you. We're going to spend some serious time unpacking the foundational mental shifts you need to make.
Then we'll get into the tough stuff, like how to deal with failure and rejection, which are, inevitable.
And finally, we'll give you the practical day-to-day steps for structuring your energy and priorities to really make these 30 days count. All right, let's start with the foundation. This is where everything else is built.
We have to. And we begin with what a lot of peak performance coaches call the absolute bedrock of success.
Taking full responsibility.
Full, complete, 100% responsibility for your life and everything in it. That's theme 1.1. The idea is there's only one person responsible, and that's you. Not your boss, not your parents, not the economy. You are the locus of control.
And this is where that huge mental switch happens, right? The moment you start blaming other things, you actually take your power back.
You do. It's like what Floyd said, Most people don't really want freedom because freedom comes with responsibility. And that's, it's terrifying.
So you have a choice to make. You can either be the victim in your story, or you can be the protagonist.
Exactly. If you're the victim, your life can only get better if everyone else changes. Your boss has to be nicer. The economy has to improve. And that's just a recipe for stagnation.
Because you can't control any of that.
Right. But if you decide to be the protagonist, you have the power. You can create your circumstances. Or, and this is the crucial part, you can decide how you're going to respond to them. You control your thoughts, your actions, your feelings.
Let's break that down a bit more. The difference between an automatic reaction and a conscious response.
Reaction is just autopilot. It's fast, it's usually emotional, and a lot of the time, it's negative. A conscious response is when you insert a little bit of space, a moment of choice between the thing that happens and what you do next.
Okay, give us a practical example.
The book uses a really simple one. Being late for work because of traffic. The victim blames the traffic. That external thing is the reason they're always late. So they just wait for the traffic to magically disappear one day.
Which is never going to happen.
Of course not. But the protagonist understands they can't control the traffic, but they can control their own behavior. So what do?
They just leave home earlier.
They leave earlier, they take action, they neutralize the variable they can't control by changing the one they can.
That makes perfect sense for something personal, like a schedule. But what about a bigger problem? Say, a huge project at work gets delayed because an outside vendor misses their deadline. The victim would just throw up their hands and blame the vendor.
Right, and they'd let the whole project fail.
So what does the protagonist do?
The protagonist accepts the reality that the vendor failed. But their first question isn't, whose fault is this? It's, okay, what resources do I have right now to mitigate this damage? What's my plan B? They take responsibility for the outcome, not for the event itself. And that mental shift right there is everything.
That leads us right into theme 1.2, choices, decisions, and attitude. The idea that our life right now is basically just the sum of all the decisions we've made up to this point.
Yeah, and the formula the book gives is so simple. Your attitude plus your decisions equals your life. The key is just making decisions, even if they turn out to be wrong.
Because that's how you get feedback.
That's how you learn and adjust. And the foundation for this whole idea is anchored in, well, one of the most powerful psychological discoveries ever. It comes from Viktor Frankl.
The psychologist who was imprisoned in concentration camps during World War II.
That's him. And he noticed something incredible. Even in those absolutely horrific conditions where every physical freedom was taken away, there was one ultimate freedom that remained.
The freedom to choose your response.
Exactly. He discovered that between the stimulus, which is what happens to you, and the response, how you react, there's a tiny space. And in that space lies your power to choose.
And that can't be taken away from you. That's a profound thought. It really underlines the argument that it's not the event itself that hurts us.
It's our response to it.
It's the story we tell ourselves about it.
Right. And if Frankl could find that freedom in those conditions, then our modern challenges, a missed deadline, a difficult colleague, they're certainly manageable. It means we can consciously choose healthier attitudes.
Like allowing yourself to make mistakes without beating yourself up. Or admitting when you don't know something and asking for help.
Those are all choices. They are conscious decisions you make every single day.
Which brings us directly to theme 1.3, mastering your thoughts and beliefs. If our response determines our reality, then our internal world, our thoughts, has to be the starting point for any real change.
It's like Marcus Aurelius said, right? Our life is what our thoughts make it. If you want to improve your life, you have to improve the quality of your thoughts. You aren't your thoughts. You are the creator of them.
And your thoughts are a form of energy.
They are. And energy follows thought. The sequence that runs our lives is simple. A thought leads to an emotion, which generates a behavior, and that behavior leads to an action.
So if your dominant thought is about lack or scarcity,
the emotion is fear. The behavior is avoiding risk. And the action, or lack of action, keeps you stuck. That's why we have to audit our beliefs. They're just habitual thought patterns that become self-fulfilling prophecies.
So a belief is like an internal map we use to navigate the world.
It's the perfect analogy. And we see the power of that map validated in science all the time. Think about the placebo effect.
Where a person's belief that a sugar pill will work actually creates a real physiological healing response.
Exactly. Or the Pygmalion effect, which shows that our expectations of other people can literally change their performance. Our beliefs aren't passive. They are active architects of our reality.
So if you have a limiting belief like, I don't deserve success or making money is hard, that belief is acting like a ceiling on what's possible for you.
It's a mental prison. So we need a practical way to dismantle those beliefs. The source gives a really clear 3-step exercise for this.
Okay, what is it?
First, you just have to acknowledge that the limiting thought is only a belief. It's not reality. It's not a law of physics.
It's just a thought you've had over and over again.
Right. Second, you have to intentionally create opposing positive emotions. You have to feel the feeling of the new belief. And third, and this is the action step, for just 10 minutes a day, you have to act as if the desired outcome has already happened.
So you're kind of programming your subconscious.
You are bypassing your rational, skeptical mind and feeding it new data. Think about the ultimate limiting belief in sports history, the 4-minute mile.
For decades, everyone just accepted it was scientifically impossible for a human to run that fast.
Doctors and scientists literally published papers proving it. It was an absolute belief system for the entire athletic world until May 6th, 1954.
Roger Bannister. He ran it in 3 minutes, 59.4
And
seconds.
here's the punchline. Within 1 year of Bannister breaking that belief barrier, over 1,000 other runners did the exact same thing. Nothing physical had changed. Not the shoes, not the tracks, not the training. The only thing that changed was the belief system. It went from impossible to possible. That's the definitive proof. Your internal beliefs set the boundaries for your external reality.
Okay, so that clarity of mind, that belief that something is possible, that's the fuel. But you still need an engine, and that's where persistence comes in.
Right. And the source material defines the top two habits for success as patience and perseverance. It argues pretty forcefully that persistence is far more valuable than just raw talent or intelligence.
Because life is going to throw setbacks at you. That's a guarantee.
It is. And the key is to see those obstacles as temporary defeats, not as permanent failures. Persistence isn't about just banging your head against the same wall over and over.
It's about adjusting the plan.
Adjusting the plan, changing the method, but keeping your eyes fixed on the goal.
It sounds simple, but building that habit of persistence actually has a structure to it. The book lays out 4 requirements.
It does. First, you need a crystal clear goal and a real burning desire to get there. It can't be a nice to have.
It has to be a must.
A must. Second, you need a clear plan with daily, concrete action steps. You have to know what you're doing today.
And the other 2 are more defensive, right?
Yeah, they're about protecting your mindset. You need, and this is crucial, immunity to negative influences.
Yeah.
The people who tell you it's a silly dream or it's impossible, you have to shut that out.
And fourth, a support system.
A support system. Even just one person who will encourage you and keep you accountable. Without those 4 pieces, that burning desire just fizzles out when you hit the first wall.
And hitting that wall brings us straight to theme 2.2, the Edison mentality. This is all about tackling the fear of failure, which is, the #1 dream killer.
We're so terrified of it. And it's because we completely misunderstand what failure actually is. It's not a final judgment on your worth. It's just information. It's a learning experience. It's high-value data.
This is where Thomas Edison's mindset is such a perfect reframe. He didn't see it as failing 10,000 times to invent the light bulb.
Not at all. He said things like, I failed myself to success. And my favorite, I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. He wasn't failing. He was systematically eliminating possibilities. He was gathering data.
That mindset gives us the success formula. Success comes from right decisions. Right decisions come from experience.
And experience, more often than not, comes from making a whole lot of wrong decisions. You can't skip that phase. It's how you learn.
The story of Abraham Lincoln really drives this home. I mean, the sheer number of defeats he endured is just staggering.
It's almost unbelievable. In 1832, he loses his job. He's defeated for the legislature. A year later, his business fails. In 1836, he has a complete nervous breakdown.
And that's just the start.
It is. Over the next 2 decades, he's defeated for Speaker, defeated for nomination to Congress, defeated for the Senate twice. And then finally, after all that, in 1860, he's elected president.
That's nearly 30 years of intense public failure. He must have had such a deep-seated belief that each loss was just temporary.
It was just feedback, a course correction. It wasn't an indictment of his character. And he's not alone in this. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team.
Steven Spielberg was rejected from film school 3 times.
And J.K. Rowling's manuscript for Harry Potter was rejected 12 times. She said she actually pulled the first manuscript out of the trash after getting rejections. You just have to accept mistakes as feedback and keep getting back up.
The fear of failure is so often linked to the fear of rejection, which is theme 2.3. And the core idea here is that rejection is just a concept in your mind.
It's a story you tell yourself. The most successful people aren't the ones who never get rejected. They're just better at handling it.
The mantra is NEXT.
NEXT. Don't take it personally. If you ask for something, a date, a sale, a job, and the answer is no, your objective situation hasn't actually changed at all. You're in the exact same spot you were in before you asked.
The damage is all internal. It's the story you tell yourself afterwards.
Exactly. And the evidence for pushing through rejection is just overwhelming. Sylvester Stallone's script for Rocky was rejected over 70 times.
70 times.
Can you imagine? Or the authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul. They were rejected 130 times before that book went on to sell millions.
It's just a numbers game then. Who's willing to take the most swings?
It really is. And to build that tolerance for rejection, you have to get out of your comfort zone. As Peter McWilliams said, be comfortable being uncomfortable. All your growth happens out there.
But that sounds so intimidating, trying to make huge changes all at once.
It is. That's why you have to use baby steps. Don't try to go from 0 to 100 overnight. You'll burn out. The book suggests starting with small, low-risk changes.
Like what?
Try a new restaurant for lunch. Take a different route to work. Just do something that breaks your routine and expands your tolerance for the new and unfamiliar. It builds the muscle of change without the overwhelm.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like a psychological buffer. Now, let's pivot to theme 2.4, which is focus management. The book makes a pretty bold claim here.
It does. It says the number 2 reason people don't get what they want isn't a lack of talent or effort. It's that they concentrate all their energy on what they don't want. And whatever you focus on expands.
This is a huge mistake people make with things like the law of attraction, right?
A classic misstep. They'll say, I want to attract more money. But then they spend all day worrying about their bills, stressing about debt, feeling the lack of money. Their emotional state, their focus, is all on lack. And so they attract more lack.
Your focus literally creates your perception.
It does. And this has to be reflected in your language, especially your inner dialogue. Your subconscious mind is powerful, but it's not very sophisticated. It takes your words literally. It thinks in images.
Right, the don't think of a pink elephant example.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The first thing you do is picture a pink elephant. So if you're constantly telling yourself, I'm so tired or I'm so stressed, your subconscious doesn't argue. It just gets to work producing more of that feeling for you.
So we have to change our internal questions.
That is the single most effective adjustment you can make. You have to stop asking negative what-if down questions like, what if I fail? What if they laugh at me?
And switch to positive what-if up questions.
What if this works out perfectly? What if it's even better than I imagined? That simple shift completely changes the energy. A negative question creates fear. A positive question creates possibility.
So once we have that mindset, that persistence, that focus, we need a destination. We need a map. And that brings us to theme 3.1. Know yourself and define your purpose.
This is foundational. Aristotle said, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. And that means doing the deep work, answering some tough questions about your dreams, your regrets, your real motivations.
And a huge part of that is defining your core values.
Absolutely. As JFK said, efforts and courage are not enough without purpose and direction. You have to get really clear on your top 4 values. What really drives you, that becomes your compass.
Because if your life is out of alignment with your values, you suffer.
You feel that tension constantly. If your number 1 value is family, but you're working 80 hours a week and never see them, you're going to be miserable no matter how much money you're making.
The source material argues that finding your purpose is really just about finding what you love to do.
It sounds like a cliche, but it's true. And the data backs it up. That 2013 Gallup report found that up to 70% of people are unhappy or disengaged at their jobs.
70%, that's a staggering number.
It is. When you're doing something that gives you a sense of purpose, everything changes. You attract the right people, the right opportunities. Things just start to flow.
That example from the book about the woman who dropped out of law school to sell shoes is so perfect.
It is. Because she went against all conventional wisdom. Everyone probably thought she was crazy.
But she knew her values. She loved helping people, and she loved shoes. She followed her gut.
And she became the number 1 salesperson and found real fulfillment. That kind of conviction only comes from deep self-knowledge.
Okay, so once you have that clarity, theme 3.2 says you need to focus on your strengths and honor your achievement.
Right. Don't try to be good at everything. Make a list of your top 5 strengths. What do you do best? What makes you unique? When you operate from that place of strength, you're naturally more confident and more effective.
And to really build that confidence, there's an exercise called self-confidence rocket fuel.
This is such a great one. You literally make a list of all your past successes and achievements. Graduate from college, getting a promotion, overcoming a tough time. You have to stop and really relive those wins.
Why is that so important?
Because you're gathering evidence. You're collecting empirical proof that you are capable, that you have succeeded before. It's the perfect antidote to imposter syndrome or self-doubt. You focus on success, you attract more success.
And that ties into celebrating the small wins along the way.
You have to. Every little action step you complete, you have to acknowledge it. Reward yourself. A nice dinner, an hour to read a book, whatever. It keeps your momentum going and it keeps your awareness on your progress.
That direction and achievement then gets formalized in theme 3.3. Goal setting and visualization. And writing goals down is non-negotiable.
It has to be done. Brian Tracy said, people with clear written goals accomplish far more in a shorter time than people without them could ever imagine. A dream is just a dream. A goal is a dream with a deadline.
And the book recommends a top-down approach for this.
Yeah, it's really effective. You start big with a 10-year life vision. No limits. Then you break that down into 5-year goals, then 1-year goals, then 3-month goals, and finally you ask, what do I need to do today?
Writing it down focuses the mind, but that's not enough. You have to use visualization.
Visualization is your superpower. We already said the subconscious can't tell the difference between a vivid visualization and a real experience. So when you see your goal as already accomplished, with all the emotion and detail, you are literally programming your mind for success.
And this isn't just some new age idea, it's backed by science.
It is. Studies have confirmed it improves performance in everything from pistol shooting to basketball free throws, almost as much as actual physical practice. The advice is simple. Create a vision board or make it your phone's screensaver. Look at it every single day and feel the feeling of having already achieved it.
All right, now we get into the really practical daily application of all this, starting with theme 4.1, which is energy management through elimination.
This is so critical. Your energy is your most precious resource. It's the fuel that gets you from where you are to where you want to go. And the book says you have to be very selfish about protecting it.
Which means getting rid of the energy robber.
Exactly. Some are obvious, unhealthy food, too much alcohol, negative people. But some are less obvious, like having unfocused goals, watching too much news, and this concept of tolerations.
Let's dig into that. Tolerations, that's a fascinating idea. What are they?
Tolerations are all those small, nagging annoyances that you put up with every single day. They're the grain of sand in your shoe.
So like a squeaky door you never fix, or a missing button on your favorite shirt.
That's it. Or a messy desk, or that little administrative task you keep putting off. Each one seems tiny and insignificant on its own.
But together they create this constant, low-grade psychological friction.
That just drains your energy reserves day in and day out, which leads right into the power of uncluttering. Physical and virtual clutter is exhausting.
The rule is pretty ruthless here. If you haven't used it or needed it in a year, it's gotta go.
It's just taking up physical and mental space.
Yeah.
The book talks about a client who cleared out their apartment and immediately felt 10 times lighter. They got this huge energy boost that they then used to finish their big goals.
And that brings us to theme 4.2, time management and organization. The first thing we have to do is bust the biggest excuse of all. I don't have time.
You can't manage time. You can only manage your priorities. The fastest way to find an hour is to watch one less hour of TV or social media. Do that every day, and you've just gained 365 extra hours a year.
And we have to understand the hidden cost of interruptions.
This is huge. A 5-minute interruption doesn't cost you 5 minutes. Research shows it costs you up to 12 minutes to get fully back on task. So if you let people interrupt you constantly, you're just destroying your own efficiency.
You have to set boundaries.
You have to. And the book offers some really clear organizational tips for anyone who feels overwhelmed. Spend 15 minutes at the end of each day clearing your desk and planning tomorrow's top priorities.
Use your email inbox as a to-do list, not a storage archive.
Right. And if a task takes less than 5 minutes, just do it immediately. Don't even think about it.
And the most important tip, the one that saves the most time in the long run.
Do the job right the first time. Cutting corners always costs you more time later when you have to go back and fix it.
These structures are formalized in theme 4.3, the most important hour, which is all about daily rituals.
Yeah, the way you start your day sets the tone for the entire day. The morning ritual is non-negotiable. You have to get up 30 to 60 minutes earlier than you need to just to create that time for yourself.
And you use that time for things like gratitude, quiet reflection, visualization.
Maybe some light exercise. It establishes self-discipline and ensures you start the day proactively as the protagonist, not just reacting to whatever comes your way.
And the evening ritual is just as important. The last half hour of the day is when your subconscious is most receptive.
So you want to feed it good stuff. Reflect on your day, plan tomorrow's priorities, read something inspirational, and, this is critical, avoid negative news or stressful movies right before bed.
Because that negativity just gets processed all night long.
It programs you for stress. Which brings us back to mass media avoidance. The average person spends 4 to 5 hours a day consuming media. That is a massive amount of time and energy that could be reclaimed.
It's not just the time, it's the emotional cost. The news is designed to create fear and stress about things you mostly can't control.
Exactly. The advice is to replace it. Use your commute time to listen to an audiobook or a motivational program. Turn your car into a university on wheels.
All right, to do all of this, to operate at this level, we have to talk about the machine itself, our body, which is theme 5.1, health and self-care.
You have to. The body and mind are completely connected. Buddha said, to keep the body in good health is a duty. And a healthier life is really just a decision away.
A balanced diet, exercise, drinking enough water, the basics.
The basics that we so often neglect. Exercising 3 to 5 times a week isn't just about your body. It's a powerful tool for reducing stress. It improves your sleep. It boosts your self-esteem.
And self-care also means deliberate acts of, well, self-love, really. The book talks about this exercise called pampering yourself.
This is a miraculous one for self-confidence. You just write a list of 15 ways to pamper yourself, a massage, a long bath, an hour with a good book, and you do one every other day for 2 weeks.
It seems small, but by doing that, you're sending a powerful message to yourself.
You're communicating that you are worthy of care and attention, and that instantly raises your self-esteem.
Which connects right to theme 5.2, authenticity, posture, and asking. The most successful people are authentic. They aren't playing a role.
They're not. They don't fear judgment because they're just being themselves. But if you struggle with that confidence, you can use the fake it till you make it principle.
So you act as if you already have the confidence you want.
You embody it. And your subconscious doesn't know the difference. You can also use your own biology to help. The research on power postures is fascinating.
This is the Amy Cuddy research from Harvard.
That's the one. Just holding an expansive, powerful posture like the Wonder Woman pose for 2 minutes.
Creates a 20% increase in confidence-boosting testosterone and a 25% decrease in stress-inducing cortisol.
You can literally change your body's chemistry to prime yourself for success right before a big meeting.
And once you feel that confidence, you have to just ask for what you want.
This is so simple, but so many of us don't do it. We're afraid of being told no. But the logic is flawless. If you don't ask, the answer is already no. You already have the no.
Asking at least creates the possibility of a yes.
At least it gives you a chance.
Okay, theme 5.3 brings us to kindness, family, and presence. The advice here is to commit to one random act of kindness every single day.
And it's not entirely selfless. Doing good deeds makes you feel good. It releases endorphins. And it reinforces that idea that what you put out into the world comes back to you.
It can be something small, buying a coffee for the person behind you, giving away a coupon you're not going to use.
Minimal effort, massive psychological return. But while we're out there changing the world, we have to remember to prioritize our family.
Right. One of the top regrets of the dying is wishing they hadn't worked so hard and had spent more time with their loved ones.
You have to make that time now. And when you are with them, you have to be fully present.
Not half listening while scrolling on your phone.
Exactly. That presence is the key to happiness itself. Happiness isn't some destination you arrive at after you hit your goals. It happens in the now. You have to enjoy the moment.
And finally, theme 5.4, managing worry and problems. The Dalai Lama has the perfect logic for this.
It's foolproof. If a problem can be fixed, there's no need to worry. If it can't be fixed, worrying is useless. Worrying changes absolutely nothing about the future, but it robs you of your peace in the present.
The stats on worry are just mind-blowing. One study showed a manager was able to eliminate 92% of his worries.
Just by realizing they were about things that would never happen, couldn't be changed, or just didn't matter, like other people's opinions. We have to learn to drop the things outside of our control.
And for the problems we can solve.
Face them. Solve them immediately. If you run from a problem, it will just keep showing up in different forms until you learn the lesson it's trying to teach you. Every problem is an opportunity to grow.
And that brings us to the urgent conclusion, theme 5.5. Living without regret. The biggest tragedy is that most of us live like we have infinite time.
We're always postponing our real lives. And when we look at those top regrets of the dying, 2 of the biggest are wishing they'd had the courage to live a life true to themselves.
And wishing they had just let themselves be happier.
Which is why we end with Steve Jobs. His insight is the ultimate perspective check. Remembering that you are going to die is the best tool for making the big choices.
Because all the fear of embarrassment or failure just falls away.
It leaves only what is truly important. You have no reason not to follow your heart. The time to start living is now.
So, to summarize our deep dive today.
The blueprint for change is really about persistent effort. It's not about looking for a miracle. It's about consistent action, not just trying. And more than anything, it's about focusing all your energy on what you want, not on what you lack.
We laid out that core path. Take complete 100% responsibility for your life. Rewrite your internal story by getting rid of those limiting beliefs. Know your values, manage your time and energy, and learn to see failure as just feedback.
Change is a decision, but it's a decision that you have to reinforce every single day for at least 30 days to make it a habit. Your success is entirely up to you, and it starts today.
We want to leave you with one last urgent thought from the material. You have a decision to make between two different kinds of suffering. There's the price you pay for taking action, the discomfort of getting up early, of exercising, of saying no. That suffering is temporary.
But then there's the price you're paying for not changing. The long-term stress, the anxiety, the missed opportunities, the health problems. As Bill Clinton once said, the price of doing the same old thing is far higher than the price of change.
So, which suffering are you choosing today?
Pick one small thing from our deep dive. Just one. Commit to it for the next 30 days. And start now.